Hello everybody, and finally we are going to be playing a game I have wanted forever. And I actually downloaded it myself, like a big boy. We're going to be playing the Stanley Parable. I have not played this game yet, and I know it's actually better to play when you don't know all the outcomes. Sadly, I've watched people play it before. I wanted to stop myself watching it at one part, but I guess I couldn't. Anyways, let's start. Stanley Parable. I'm going to be doing. I'm going to do every. I'm going to try and do every outcome.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor next to his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. Others might have considered it soul-wrenching. Stanley relished every moment as the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Yay! I'm happy pushing buttons and getting money. Sounds like a good job.
Then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
What would that be, Mr. Guy?
He was at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on a monitor for him to follow.
And?
No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked? Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.
Yeah, I know. I'm moving my mouse.
He got up from his desk and walked out into the hallway.
Alright, first we're going to be going the way the narrator wants us to go.
Stanley decided to go to the staff lounge to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Like I said, we're going to be doing what he wants first. I love the music. It's like, I hope you guys can hear the music. This is like so weird.
As Stanley entered the lounge, he was horrified by the sight. He would walk up to
I can't even crouch. I can't jump, sprint, or crouch. I can only look around and walk. Huh.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yay, following orders. Huh? I can see that Griffin.
Office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
I can see that graphical distortion.
He began to feel dizzy and a little sick, and even thought he might pass out when suddenly he noticed a keypad next to the filing cabinet in the corner of his boss's office. Stanley had never seen this panel before and had no idea what combination of numbers would produce any result. In fact, only Stanley's boss knew this, since the panel withheld access to the boss's greatest, darkest secret, and so he had assigned the keypad a combination that only he could possibly know. The number of his freshman dorm number in college. 1957. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing
Aha!
on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Yeah, well, sure.
Stanley ventured forth into the newly opened passageway.
Opened.
Deeper into the bowels of the building, Stanley had no idea where he was or what this place held. And
What?
just as he began to think he might not discover a thing, he emerged into a long room to find rows and rows of monitors.
Yeah.
screens with a number above it. Stanley noticed, however, that these were not random numbers, but the number of employees who worked in the building,
There's
his
mine.
co-workers.
I can't
This
reach
number,
it.
427, had a place on the wall. But why a setup so elaborate, he asked. Was this simple surveillance, or something even more? And as if in answer to his question, the wall slid open before him, revealing the ultimate truth of the situation. An enormous control panel, Stanley discovered, but not one that controlled simple machinery. Buttons were labeled with emotions: happy, sad. Levers and knobs controlled
Hmm.
actions: walking, eating, doing work, or watching TV.
Huh?
Every input on this device monitored not the functions of a machine, but of a human being. And the reality began to sink in. Stanley, like so many other people, reduced to images on a monitor, had been under someone's control, always at the mercy of this machine. Could this have been the only reason employee number
Barrel.
427 was content with his boring job?
Barrel.
That a machine had
Barrel.
altered his
What?
emotions to accept it blindly? He began to feel an unbridled rage, and at the peak of his rage,
Ah.
something happened. A spark. Stanley looked up and saw the generator overhead, still providing some small amount of power to the machine, keeping it alive. And knowing that this generator was all that kept the controls running, Stanley moved to the ladder in the back of the room and began to climb towards the rafters.
I tried going up there, but that thing just went to the wall. Okay. That's kind of freaky. Come on. Come on, Stanley. And it looks in no way like a little power.
The higher Stanley climbed, the closer he felt to freedom, the further from enslavement.
No, duh, Sherlock. Go up the ladder, you wheat tot! You Pop Tart. You utter Pop Tart. It doesn't tell me which one I need to push. I didn't watch that. I don't think anyone does. No, I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say since it's the green one, that's the right one. Wait, no, no, no. Wait, that would make it so. No, I'm gonna go this way. I gotta give you time to choose, or else I would have just been dead. Ah, what?
Blackness, power gone,
Graphical distortion.
alone.
Oh.
As he stepped through the door into the fresh outside air, a feeling of liberation rushed through Stanley's body. He had seen power, he had seen enslavement, and he had destroyed it. The underling was in control now. He had found his leading role. Stanley never discovered why everyone had gone missing, nor how and when he had come under the machine's control. But it didn't upset him terribly, because he knew that this was how things were meant to happen. All he felt was a delight unlike any he had ever known before. Never again would he follow someone else's orders without question. Never again would anyone tell Stanley where to go, what to do, or how to feel. No more bosses. No more instructions on a screen. Stanley decides for himself now. And he stepped out into the world, and he felt the cool breeze upon his skin, and Stanley was happy.
Yay! Every time someone says Stanley was happy, I'm gonna say yay. Deal with it. My FPS is all the way down at 6. Like it shouldn't be. I'm just gonna play through the credits. because I don't want to get a copy from Langer's Dictionary. Oh my god, wait, what? Consuro 4? What does Consuro 4 mean? Dead already. What? There's a French translate. How many translations are there? Wait, is there a Russian translation? Yeah, you're welcome. Wait, how many translations are there? Audio, English, just English. Um, New game. All right, we're gonna do another. Well, every time he tells us to do one thing, we're gonna do the exact opposite. So, I mean, there's nothing else we can do there.
Decided to go to the staff lounge to check on his co-workers.
Good for
He
him.
functioned well by himself,
Um,
constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
right.
This was not the correct way to the employee lounge, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. So he turned left at the first open door and walked back in the right direction.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Maybe it's just like no one wanted to be around someone as bad at listening as him.
Well,
Since he was walking into the middle of nowhere and thus ruining the entire story, Stanley decided that he would punish himself. So when he came to the elevator and the doors opened, he stepped inside and pushed the button to go up.
My God, this is. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I have a crosshair now, so you make sure you know exactly what you're looking at. And now it's gone.
Oh, Stanley. You know, you really aren't going anywhere, and I don't say that deceitfully. I truthfully mean that there isn't a story down here. The story was back up where I told you to go in the first place. Right now, you're just running around looking at empty halls. And frankly, that's perhaps even more infuriating for me. So why don't you throw me a bone? Give me a chance and just let me tell the story I want to tell.
So you're a dog? That means you eat crap. Ha ha ha! No.
Now listen carefully. This is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ha 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 ha! What a penny. What?
Perhaps you misunderstood.
Wait, the hall is longer.
Through the red door.
We're going this way. Period. Ick table.
I still don't think we're communicating.
Ah!
Stanley walked through
No!
the door.
No! No! Well, I actually didn't know. I didn't watch them all.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Ah!
You see? It's nothing. No one's even built this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place.
Oh, you can't be serious.
A bunch of skybox and dev wall textures. Is this what you were looking for?
Yes.
Was it worth ruining the story I'd written out for you?
Yes.
I put a lot of time into that, and now well, here you are now, just looking at nothing.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to make in the first place, just a whole lot of nothing, and you would have been happy. Well, hey, you still need a little something to do, am I right? Here, let me load up another map, see if there's something in here that'll keep you occupied.
What?
Here's one. Let's boot this up.
No!
See if you like it.
No! I don't want to load! Oh, you suck. I hate loading maps. Oh, jeez, for weasels. Okay, Huh? My node is out of graph.
Well, Stanley, is this any better?
Yes.
I don't know why it would be. This map wasn't even made for you. At least
Yeah.
I created a world specifically with you in mind. I wanted to make you a leading man. This one, well, I'm afraid you're on your own there.
Wait. I just realized. It took me this long to realize we're in Half-Life. Ah. I was so focused on the node being out of graph that I didn't even realize we were in Half-Life. Everything's the same, just no one here, and that was never there. And I can pick up barrels and kill the barrels because you don't want to get in
Stanley was
that.
fat and ugly and really, really stupid.
Oh my
He
god.
probably only got his job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That, or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Oh no, duh, he's addicted to drugs. He said drug money, so duh. Wait, Plaza exit. I want to go to no. I want to go. I want to leave. Wait, there's me. Is that an Easter egg? I don't know. So wait, I want to go to Nova Prospect. Fine. Security. No.
I spent so long talking about you. Why don't we just take a break from that and talk about something else for a change? Let's see. Well, according to Wikipedia, more than 90% of the night sharks caught off northeastern Brazil contain mercury concentrations higher than that considered safe by the local government.
What?
Now, this is fascinating. Don't you want to know more about the night sharks?
Of course.
No, of course not.
What? I said yes.
That is yourself, isn't it?
Um.
Well, fine. You haven't listened to me once so far. I can't expect you to turn that around now, can I?
How did the people who made this get permission from Valve to add? What? How?
Is this the end of the line? I
Yeah.
don't suppose this was a particularly fulfilling experience for you, considering not a single art
Oh.
aspect in this map was created with you in mind. But hey, you're a creative kid. I bet you can come up with a story about this place and why you're in it. And while you're doing that, why don't you think up an ending too? Because you certainly won't find one here. I'm afraid that's the long and short of it. This room... Wait. Hold on. What are you doing?
Going to the light. I can see a light. I'm going to the light.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you.
Anyway.
Write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that.
Yeah. I actually kind of feel bad now. Ah, my ears! Oh, are you seriously telling me that I had to load to get there, but now I don't have to load to get back here? What was the loading screen for then? Port 25. 424. Window. 423. I feel sad. I'm just gonna go the way he wanted me to. Five, 10. Oh, wait, say, so who's a what?
It's sad, I know. But all stories must come to an end.
Yeah, it is sad.
Of course, they say it's the journey that truly matters and not the destination. And I like that idea. To think we might value the paths we walk as much as the places they lead us. Now, I don't know what sort of story you've ciphered out of that world you've made for yourself, but I hope that being the leading man was everything it's cracked up to be. I know it can be a little hard getting around without someone looking over your shoulder, but this is simply the nature of freedom. Besides, I haven't really gone anywhere.
No, duh.
You don't want a guide, but I think I'll always have a place here at the end of every story. I'll step in and wrap things up with a nice piece of dialogue, and a reflection on life that makes sense of whatever path you've chosen to walk. And for now, I'm happy to be the destination instead of the journey. But only for now.
Ugh. He's scary. He's scary. What? Oh, it says the end. And music's playing. Very... yeah. I did not do that. Okay, let's do something new. I'm clicking skip. Yeah, no. No!
He never functioned well by himself.
No!
Constantly needed support and guidance.
No!
So the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
No.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the... This was not the correct way to the employee.
Yeah.
Stanley knew it perfectly well. So he turned left at the first open door and walked back in the right direction. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Maybe this is why everyone had left. No one wanted to be around someone as bad at listening as him. And since he was walking into the middle of nowhere, spoiling the entire story, Stanley decided that he
You're
would
grounded.
himself. So when he came to the elevator and the doors opened, he stepped inside and pushed the button to go up.
No. I want to leave. Nah. You're a nah. You know what? You're a nah. Okay. I guess up. How much further? Wait, what does he mean by punish me? Like punish himself. Huh? I don't know. I'm gonna regret this, am I?
It almost perplexed Stanley that he had actually gone and stepped into this metal trap. After all, it should have been
No!
so this thing would lead him to his death. But
No!
himself, this is
No!
price to pay for ruining a perfectly good story.
No!
So he resigned and willingly accepted his fate.
No!
The horrible end toward which he had spent so long stumbling.
Why would it some sort of... Why would some office company have something like this? This is so pointless. Ah, crap. No.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator as he sent his subject down the conveyor belt and into the enormous metal jaws. In a single
Another one?
Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Can I leave now? Yay. Wait. Let's look at something. Oh god. Third person. Impulse 101. Do cheats not work in this game? Oh, well, first of all, SV, not SC. That's Stanley, everybody. It's another great blob. Okay, first person. Ha 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 ha! Stanley with a gun. Ha 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 ha. Ah!
Shame, then, that
Why can't I shoot?
it was such a meaningless victory for the
Oh my god, wait. Impulse 200 CL draw HUD 0.
narrator. Did he really think he would accomplish anything by murdering this disposable vessel?
Ow. Well, I don't see the text anymore.
Every possible choice Stanley could make had been designed for him long before he ever set foot here. The narrator wanted to kill him. Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start.
What?
There's no salvation for either of these two, I'm afraid. The narrator had as little power over Stanley as Stanley did over the paths that he walked.
Yeah.
But listen to me. This
What?
story is not over. You can still save these two.
No.
You can stop
Oh, why would you do that? No.
Push escape and press quit.
What?
There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
What?
Stop now, and it will be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
What happens now? Oh, wait, what happens now? Guess nothing. It's actually a shame I couldn't use the guns. Yeah. Ah, okay. Wait. Kill!
Stanley decided to go to the staff lounge.
I'm dead! That wasn't supposed to happen. I died.
Stanley decided to go to the staff lounge
No!
to check on his co-workers.
No!
He never functioned well by himself.
No!
Constantly needed support and guidance from others.
No.
So the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
We're gonna do the downstairs. Let's go downstairs now.
as Stanley entered the lounge, he was horrified to find not a single person here. He decided he would walk up to see his boss, hoping that he would find an answer there.
Wait, that's a Black Mesa. I don't know. Anti-mass spectrometer, was it?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, of admitting that he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, was it really worth taking that risk? All because he believed everyone had disappeared? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
What?
Everyone I know simply vanishing out of the blue, there's almost no other explanation for it. And a nagging fear began to creep up in his mind. Questions that had been there all along. He just hadn't put his finger on them yet. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
I've already asked that question like a trillion times.
Automatically behind him wherever he went.
Good point.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Was he just walking around in circles?
Well, I could already answer that.
Am I, he thought. And the more he found himself unable to answer these questions, the more questions continued to arise, until he came to the issue that had been slowly boiling until he could ignore it no longer. Why is there a voice in my head, dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Suddenly, every door slammed shut.
No!
Stanley screamed, I need to get out of here. I need to know
Simultaneous!
I need to know it's not just all in my head.
Oh!
He screamed and clutched at his skull as the voice grew harsher
Ah!
and the music in the background rose higher and higher. And then, moments before collapsing to the ground, Stanley clenched his fists and screamed to anyone who might be listening, I'm not real! I'm not real! Don't believe any of it! None of it's real! And then everything went black.
That was loud.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Huh?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She got dressed, went to work, clocked in, clocked out, and then she walked home. But her walk on this day was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Oh
All
no,
this
it's
upset, she
Stanley!
would turn, run to the nearest police station, and call for an ambulance. But for just a few brief seconds, she merely stood there, unable to move. The tragedy was not the death of a single person. It was that she would never know this man's story, never hear in his own words what had happened to him, or what he believed had happened to him. For to know these things would be to exist inside the head of the man himself. So all she could do was observe from a distance and pity him. But Mariella had places to be, and people to meet with, very important people, whose impressions of her would affect her career and indeed the rest of her life. She stood there for only a moment, looking down at the body, and then she ran.
Why isn't she running? Okay then. New game. Let's keep going, I guess. Just to think, we only do one thing the narrator didn't want us to, and then he kills us.
Stanley decided to go to the stone.
I'm gonna now do the activate the generator at the very end of what he wants us to do.
He needed support and guidance from others.
Wait, was it activate or deactivate?
It was
Yeah,
terrible.
no, it was activate.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I love it. No door is open except the ones where he's going.
Stanley entered the lounge. He was horrified to find not a single person here. He decided he would walk up to see his boss, hoping that he would find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Entering his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. It was at this point that he began to feel dizzy and a little sick, and even thought he might pass out when suddenly he noticed a keypad next to the filing cabinet in the corner of his boss's office. Stanley had never seen this panel before and had no idea what combination of numbers would produce any result.
Exactly.
Only Stanley's boss knew this, since the panel withheld access to the boss's greatest, darkest secret. And so he had assigned the keypad a combination that only he could possibly know. The number of his freshman dorm number in college. 1957.
Oh, I was so close. I said 1956.
Possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. Stanley ventured forth into the newly opened. As he drew deeper into the bowels,
The newly opened.
Stanley had no idea where he was or what this place held. And just as he began to think he might not discover a thing, he emerged into a long room to find rows and rows of monitors. Screens with a number above it. Stanley noticed, however, that these were not random numbers, but the number of employees who worked in the building, his co-workers. Even his own number, 427, had a place on the wall. But why a setup so elaborate, he asked. Was this simple surveillance, or something even more? And as if in answer to his question, the wall slid open before him, revealing the ultimate truth of the situation. An enormous control panel, Stanley discovered, but not one that controlled simple machinery. Buttons were labeled with emotions. Happy, sad. Levers and knobs controlled actions. Walking, eating, doing work.
Wait a minute.
Every input on this device monitored not the functions of a machine.
Wait a minute. This isn't right.
Reality began to sink in. Stanley, like so many other people, reduced to images on a monitor, had been under someone's control, always at the mercy of this machine. Could this have been the only reason employee number 427 was content with his boring job? that a machine had altered his emotions to accept it blindly. He began to feel an unbridled rage.
Ah!
Something happened.
Ah!
Stanley looked up and saw the generator
Go away!
still providing some small amount of power to the machine, keeping it alive. And knowing that this generator was all that kept the controls running, Stanley moved to the ladder in the back of the room and began to climb towards the rafters.
Yeah, it's like going into the wall. What the raffle? Yay, it's on. How does that help anybody? Whatever.
The higher Stanley climbed, the closer he felt to freedom, the further from enslavement.
Come on, just go up the ladder, you retard. You retard. Yeah, so I already did disable generator. Let's do enable.
Stanley,
Yeah?
you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
No.
After it kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you wanted?
Yeah.
Control? Stanley. I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were meant to let it go. Turn the controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do better than that.
Are you serious? I walked down a staircase and you killed me.
For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized that he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system.
Wait, what?
In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification,
Oh, hell
nuclear
no.
detonators are
Oh, hell no.
detonating the entire complex. How long until detonation then?
No.
Oh, let's make it say, 2 minutes.
No. No. No.
Fun, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Play with those controls all you like. The real controls are where I'm sitting.
Huh.
Did you really ever believe you held any power? Did
Yes.
you think I knew what I was doing? When I erased your co-workers and turned off the machine, I was offering you freedom.
Okay, we gotta go, where to go, gotta go. Oh god, epic music's playing.
I don't always set you free. Sometimes you just sit there, day after day after day, doing your job forever, and then die.
I have an idea.
But when I actually give you the freedom to control your own actions,
What?
it's not enough. I let you go, and you trapped yourself just the same. You just weren't made to handle this sort of
Ah,
responsibility.
it's jammed.
But you know what you were made for? Pushing buttons.
Hey.
You get it now? Now I'm enjoying this. Tell you what, I'll throw some extra time on the clock just because I'm having so much fun.
Oh god, he's giving me more time. I gotta take it.
Every long second you try to puzzle this out. After all, it's the timer, the nuclear detonation,
Yes, sir.
serious facility, it's all here. This is a video game.
No.
Except for one thing there, hero. You've got no weapon, no vehicle.
I could get a weapon.
Know where you're going.
I kinda.
That timer, you just instinctively started trying to find an exit, didn't you?
He's right, you
In
know.
fact, I bet you're still looking for a way out.
Yeah, I am.
You're clicking on everything in this room, trying to open doors or vents or something and solve the puzzle. As though this game has a solution, as though it can be won. That timer is not a catalyst to keep things moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death.
Hi.
It's not a challenge. It's a tragedy. It's the moment when the hero realizes that despite his best efforts, he is powerless to his environment.
Ah, shut up.
He lets go. He surrenders.
Oh. Oh.
30 seconds, Stanley.
No. Please.
And then nothing. No ending to this story, just you dying. I suppose you could have gotten an actual ending if you played along, but
Well, you never even told me. You never even told me which was a twist in the first place.
Perish knowing that the only choice you made here was to turn on that machine and to start this timer.
Spider!
But you won't be alone, because I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here to watch every second of your inevitable life
Ah! Crap!
until the moment I say happily ever after.
Ah, freak! That was loud. Ow. That was very loud. Yeah. What else have I not done? I went down the staircase, went down. Okay, I haven't done the right door. Alright, we're gonna go do the red door. Not that red door, the other red door.
Decided to go to the staff lounge to check
Also, by the way, tell me if there's something I haven't done in the comments. I'm gonna make another video.
and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered. This was not the correct way to the employee lounge, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. So he turned left at the first open door and walked back in the right direction. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he was years ago. Maybe this is why everyone had left. No one wanted to be around someone as bad at listening as him. And since he was
Hey.
in the middle of nowhere and thus ruining the entire story, Stanley decided that he would punish himself.
Yeah.
So when he came to the elevator and the doors opened, he stepped inside and pushed the button to go up.
Okay, we're going down. Run! Oh. What the heck? Oh.
Oh, Stanley.
Yeah.
You know, you really aren't going anywhere, and I don't say that deceitfully. I truthfully mean that there isn't a story down here. The story was back up where I told you to go in the first place.
Then why'd you make
Right
this
now,
place?
You're just running around looking at empty halls, and frankly, perhaps even more infuriating for me. So
Yeah.
give me a chance and just let me tell the story I want to tell.
Why don't you just let me be freed? Throw me a bone. I'm not a dog though, like you. No.
Now listen carefully. This is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
And I just did. What?
Good, good. Now, if you don't mind, there's something I'd like to show you. But to do that, I think it would be best for us to start from the beginning.
What?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
What? What doesn't make any sense?
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. His job pushing buttons demanded little of him, so there was not much of himself to give. And in this way, Stanley's job felt
I am.
like his every day. But if buttons need pushing one day, it means they'll need pushing the next
Why?
and then the next. So without question or judgment,
I'm pushing it.
continue to do what the screen told him.
Please.
Another
Please.
flowed into ride home, flowed into
Jack.
waking up, flowed into going to work, and here he was again. Stanley was typing a complete sentence that said absolutely nothing at all. If in reality no one
I'm doing my.
actually disappeared,
Okay.
and Stanley never got the opportunity to make a decision
You had to open the door though.
he wanted to take,
I can't.
would his life still have any meaning?
In this,
Perhaps when we long
here?
for something deeply enough, these hopes and fantasies become so strong in our minds
like the Stanley Parable. Okay.
that we're there, controlling that person and living that adventure.
What?
To manipulate
Okay.
thoughts and emotions,
I don't want
and
to.
freedom
All
from
right.
self-imposed prison. But these delusions can be fatal.
You mean Quagmire and Joe in Cleveland?
And so Stanley asked, if that door never opened,
Oh,
if I'll never be able
The
to
door isn't even opening, so I have no choice.
buttons, is this life still worth experiencing?
I know. I'm not questioning anything.
Stanley answered this question by pushing a button.
Oh
Then he pushed a button, and then he pushed
no!
a button.
Oh no!
Then he pushed a button.
I think I just did every ending that there can possibly be. There can possibly be. I don't know. All right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's everything. Everybody. Stanley Parable. Hold on. Yeah. If you want to get the Stanley Parable 2, which I wouldn't because I mean I just ruined the whole story for you. Just go to ModDB and install it now. You're gonna need the Zero. If you don't have the Zero, then it won't work. And then you just then you'll say the Zero and it will like choose folder, file folder. Then you click on the Zero, log in, and then you go to your Steam user. Then a little drop down bar will come up. You click on your Steam username, let it load, and then when it says it's ready, you just click play. And yeah, it's feeling Parable, everybody. See y'all.